This is Silver State Sights, a tour of the most interesting places in Nevada that you can enjoy on a day trip.
It's one of Virginia City's most popular and historic locations, and one you can visit any day. KOLO 8 News Now's Ben Deach takes us to the Bucket of Blood Saloon in the latest episode of Silver State Sights.
When the days of Virginia City's Comstock Lode came to an end, the Bucket of Blood Saloon was one of the few places that kept going.
The boom days of the mining era up here, you know, all the saloons in town, which there were over 100 of them at the time, all did very good business. And then after the boom went bust and the mines had closed, only a few places survived, and this just happened to be one of them.
Owner Marshall McBride says his family has owned the saloon for 88 years, going back to the Great Depression.
Virginia City was pretty much boarded up in those days. You could buy a place up here for not very much money in those days.
McBride says surviving Prohibition wasn't easy.
During Prohibition, it operated as a bookstore and a couple of other things, but they weren't allowed to sell alcohol then.
The saloon overlooks 6 Mile Canyon on the city's historic C Street, which, according to McBride, looked a lot different in the 19th century.
Story has it that this was known as the two-bit side of the street. So this is where the miners and maybe the lower end of the spectrum would be to go ahead and drink and celebrate. The other side of the street is where the bankers and the mine owners, they would go ahead and associate on that side of the street.
Today, the saloon is full of historic relics.
Pictures and swords and guns and paintings, just to go ahead and make it more of a living museum so people had more to look at in here instead of just a line of liquor bottles behind the bar.
The bar's name has become a brand, with plenty of shirts and hats sold each day. And it's a name with an origin story.
The legend has it that a lot of mining camps had either a bucket of blood or a bloody bucket saloon, because that would be a miner's favorite saloon they would go to. They would give their favorite saloon a nickname, and that's where they would go to drink and fight after work.
In Virginia City, Ben Deach, KOLO 8 News Now.
I've actually been there. Ben does a lot of these stories. I'm like, oh, I got to put that on my list. But that one I've been to, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you need to